Hello, non moi c'est Jacques Guillaume.
Hello, my name is Marie-Danielle Guillaume.
Moi invite pour tendre Solstice Realty tous les samedis de 11h à midi pour nous répondre toutes questions sur real estate pour à bord de 1530 AM Radio Puissance Inter.
We invite you to listen to the Solstice Realty radio show every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Call us with questions at 904-786-2400. And for more information, call us or text us at 904-386-1726 or call the office at 904-886-3100.
Ou capable toujours les radios à 904-786-2400. Et pour plus d'informations, ou capable toujours contacter nous dans 904-386-1726 ou bien capable les office là dans 904-886-3100. Ou capable toujours contacter n'importe agent Solstice Realty.
And if you did not get a chance to listen to the Solstice Realty radio show, you may listen to the program on YouTube by searching Solstice Realty.
Et maintenant, qui est à côté du Puissance Inter de Jacksonville et sur le net. Et nous saluons tout le monde du côté de Tampa. Et quand on dit M. Guillaume Chaussard, son show live qui est capable de un pile profit pour nous-mêmes et nos affaires immobilières. Non pas moi comme M. Guillaume te dit, c'est Wilford Florival et alias Santico. Et que on est toujours capable d'attendre et M. Guillaume live maintenant une chose ça a fait de 11h à midi chaque samedi et entre Radio Puissance Inter et Radio Lumière FM de Tampa.
Well, good morning and thank you, Jacques. It's a pleasure to join you this Saturday morning. Beautiful outside. I'm delighted today to introduce to your listeners Wells Fargo's Your First Mortgage.
Ok, n'a dit bonjour et bonsoir avec chaque monde qui a côté nous, et spécialement avec monde qui est habitué à des émissions ça chaque samedi, qui entre la caillou avec M. Jacques Guillaume. Et c'est un bagage qui est important. Les gens ont une vie, est conditionné en tout, les gens ont une vie, et nous sommes capables de dire c'est go affluence pour gagner la caillou. C'est une bagage qui pas marché, qui a un pile problème. Nous sommes très contents de gagner monsieur Jacques Guillaume dans la communauté, qui a cherché des gens qui sont capables de porter des informations. Merci, monsieur Jacques.
Mesdames et messieurs, Solstice Realty de Jacques Guillaume.
Bonjour tout le monde. Débutant de laisse arriver, c'est Solstice Realty qui entre la caillou. Et des microphones là, c'est Jacques Guillaume. Et moi, j'ai monsieur Michael Paula avec moi qui voulait saluer nous. Et avant que nous entrions dans le programme, non?
Bonjour mes amis.
Son blessing parce que nous faisons toute l'année toujours là à apporter information à la communauté haïtienne là, et nous planifier tout pour nous continuer à faire ça. Donc nous avons très bon show pour comme à l'ordinaire et puis numéro de téléphone radio c'est 904 786 2400 et pour appeler l'enfant qui toujours un texte question ou capable texte question dans 904 254 93 74 ou bien dans 904 386 17 26. Et puis tout, vous capable de nous online tout, n'importe façon sur TuneIn. Ou attendre Solstice Realty Radio Show sur Radio Puissance Inter 1530 AM ou du moins 96.5 WYMM. Et puis nous live sur Radio Lumière à Tampa avec sous la bannière de Dr. Tico, Dr. Wilford Florival. Et puis qui sur 90.5 WRL FM. Et vous continuez tout sur Audio Now et puis sur la Bible et la vérité ministry de pasteur Fritz Nerlendor. Donc avant que nous rentrions dans le show, nous avons toujours les disclosures ça pour vous. Show ça que les recorder et puis la publier online. Intervention auditeur qui doit pas refléter le point de vue de Solstice Realty, des agents liés et tout staff Radio Puissance Inter. De ce fait, nous réservons tout droit pour nous modifier podcast ça avant que nous publiions online parce que nous sommes responsables pour information qui publiée dans show ça. Donc show ça il parle en anglais aujourd'hui, nous avons trois grands invités au bout du fil. Donc, we are going to switch over to the English side. So we have three special guests on the other line. Let me just check the microphone to make sure that they are still breathing or if they are not muted. All right, let me check with VJ first. VJ, are you still breathing?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. So if VJ is breathing, that means the other guys are breathing also. Okay. We have on the other line Attorney Ronald Capuccio, and then we have Mr. Anthony Davis, and we have Mr. VJ. We call him VJ, but his real name is Suresh Narain Singh. Okay, so I'm going to introduce each one of you individually, and then I am going to play an excerpt from our show last year. Last show we had in 2015. And so let me start with Mr. Anthony Davis. Mr. Anthony Davis is well known in the Haitian community. He's a loan officer for over 20 years, and he has been serving the community for at least 3 to 4 years. And then he's a person who never sleeps. So everybody.
I need your secrets.
Yeah, Anthony doesn't sleep, and he never gives up, and he doesn't bring you problem without solution. You know that's the kind of guy. He's not going to give up on any case that you bring to him. So and then we are pleased to have Mr. Anthony Davis. Also, we have Attorney Bernal Capuccio, and he's a business and tax attorney with more than 35 years. Exactly, of tax and business law experience. So, yeah, so and then he can help you form your business and help them go and increase your profitability. And as a lawyer since 1976. So here, Attorney Capuccio has seen a lot, as being an attorney since 1976.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he has been practicing in New Jersey for clients from around the U.S. and multinational clients.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's Attorney Capuccio. And then now we have Mr. You are welcome. And then we have Mr. VJ. Mr. VJ, he's retired from the service.
Retired?
Yeah,
Oh.
he's
from the service.
Yeah, he's a young guy. And he's an investor, and I call him like my Wall Street advisor.
Oh, okay.
So whenever you need a financial advisor, you can reach out to VJ, and he gives it to you for free.
Oh, very good. I didn't know that. He
Yeah.
didn't share that with me.
Yeah. The only thing he said, teach him a few Creole words, and he's going to start talking Creole on the line, so you will think that he's a real Haitian.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So before I let you guys introduce yourself, let me play a quick excerpt from last year's radio show with Ron and VJ.
If, for instance, that have your private property and you're trying to transfer it, if you do that without the approval of the mortgage company, wouldn't that be a problem? Because now it looks like it's a different entity that owns the house. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yes, go ahead, Ron.
I'll take it.
I have found that it can be a problem with some banks and some financial institutions. So it depends upon the institution. Some of them will just automatically say, yes, you can transfer it, because remember, you as the owner originally are still liable on the note, and you're liable on the mortgage, and they will permit it to be transferred, but you're still going to be personally liable for the note and mortgage, but you're not going to be liable for the other things, such as someone slipping and falling and getting hurt beyond the value of insurance, for example.
Oh, okay.
Does that answer your question?
Ron, I think what you said makes perfect sense. So basically, let's say if I own 2 or 3 properties and the mortgages are on my name. So yes, my bank or one of my banks may agree for me to switch the title to my LLC, but the mortgage will still be on my name no matter what, right?
Exactly. The mortgage note.
Yeah.
You will owe the money.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Your Ron talking about a 10-to-1 exchange, and what he said was true, but it has to be understood that any boot received would be taxable under that exchange. Any boot received or given would be taxable under that exchange.
And that's absolutely correct. The term boot means, for example, if you do an exchange and there's an amount of cash that comes to you, or your investment is less, that boot is a tax term. And that means that there will be a certain amount of gain that will be recognized and a certain amount of gain will be deferred. That's an excellent comment on the part of your caller.
Perfect. Okay, we have...
Right, and Ron, if I may step in for just a moment.
Go ahead.
When you are doing investment property, you could use residential financing for units that are 1 to 4 units. So a single-family home, a duplex, a triplex, or a quadplex. Once you go over a 4-unit property, then you would be looking at commercial financing for those larger units or apartment complex buildings. So the rules for qualifying on those 2 separate sides are going to be different.
Okay.
So just wanted to put that note out there for the listening
Yes.
And Mrs. Thomas, is much easier to get the single-family residence qualified than it is for that apartment complex or strip center.
Yes, Mrs. Thomas, I'm glad that you opened that. Give us a brief definition of a residential property. So it's a house, a duplex, or triplex, or quadruplex, or maybe a condo, a townhouse. So we are talking about these types of investment. We have a phone call. Let me pull that person in. Good morning. Okay, so and then one thing I want to say before I let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the public, I want to say thank you to a big thank you to all three of you for your ongoing support to the radio show, because we would not have the radio show without you. And as you can see, Anthony Capuccio, you were on my show last year, and then VJ was on my show last year, and then Anthony was on my show last year, and all three are on my show today, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to let Anthony say a few words to the Haitian community, then I will bring Anthony Capuccio and then VJ. Go ahead, Anthony.
Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here as always. I want to wish and just want to say I'm available for any questions that you have. It's great to be in your presence, and I appreciate you having me on the show.
Thank you very much, Anthony. So go ahead, Anthony Capuccio.
Once again, Jacques, it's a pleasure to be on the show, and thank heavens the excerpt you played from last year was not a prediction of what would be happening this year, because I think things might have gotten wrong. So I hope next year, if we do this again, you're not going to replay any predictions that I make. And I enjoy being on your show, of course, and I hope everyone is...
That's your prediction?
Yes, that's a prediction.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anthony Capuccio. Okay, VJ, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me on the show, Jack. It's always a pleasure to be on the show with Mr. Anthony and
Capuccio.
All your other experts that I learn a lot from just being on the show. I think we're going to have a tax lowering year. That might be a correct prediction on your behalf, sir.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
All right. Welcome to the show. Pour tout le monde qui fait brancher ou attendre l'émission Solstice Realty, et des microphones, c'est Jacques Guillaume avec M. Michael Paul. Nous avons au bout du fil M. Anthony Davis, loan officer de Alcova Mortgage. Nous avons Anthony Ronald Capuccio. He's a real estate tax advisor. And nous avons M. VJ. He's a financial advisor. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the program. Here's what we have in our agenda. We'll talk about tax reform. We'll talk about mortgage. We'll talk about interest, Dodd-Frank. And here's how we are going to start, guys. Okay, VJ and Anthony Capuccio, you are going to make some predictions for 2017. So put your advisor hat on. Pretend that you are Donald Trump top advisor. So you are going to make some prediction and then tell Donald Trump, here's what you think he should do in 2017 in terms of tax breaks or eliminating in tax loopholes, what to do with interest rate and mortgage. Then I will bring Anthony back. Anthony will be like Donald Trump as a loan officer. He will tell you, well, here's what he thinks is a good idea, because he doesn't want people to stop buying houses, because if people stop buying houses, then he's not going to have a job. Anthony is going to accept or reject any prediction that you two make. So I'm going to start with VJ and VJ. So we now because I know prediction can cover the world, but let's narrow it to taxes, tax increase or tax lowering taxes, and then tax loopholes, tax reform, and then I will pull Anthony Capuccio. He's going to bring his own predictions also. And then Anthony will come as Donald Trump to make a decision whether the tax reform that you guys are proposing will benefit mainstream or middle class, or will it kill the middle class? Go ahead, VJ.
Good morning, once again. What I foresee happening is I see the corporate tax rate being lowered to about 25% and basically closing all the loopholes that they can close. But once again, the accountants are smart and they'll find ways to bypass that stuff. That's what I see happening. The other thing I see they're rewriting the tax code and basically stripping it down to three categories. I think the 15, 25, and 33%. And I foresee maybe them basically not allowing a cap on Social Security. So that's my predictions of what I see that they will do, the Republicans and Donald Trump will do in the coming 12 months.
Okay, all right. So we hear you loud and clear. So let's bring Attorney Cappuccio and then see what he has to say. What his predictions are going to be for 2017.
Well, first of all, I agree with what VJ has said. That's essentially what Congressman Ryan and the Republican House has proposed. But I want to add some additional things. First of all, I think there's a strong push to lower capital gains so that it would be 50% of the actual rate. So if, for example, you were in the 15% rate, you might actually be paying 7.5% for capital gains. And I think that capital gains are also going to have a very important change for the middle class, because people that are in the middle class are going to not have to suffer the alternative minimum tax, which is a very confusing tax, but what it does is it converts capital gains into ordinary income in order to collect more tax. And this has been a very bad tax, and there's been a big push for many years by the Republican Congress to get rid of this. And now that we have both a Republican in the White House and in Congress, they're going to get rid of it, and that's going to be a big boon to the middle class. You might not realize it, but last year approximately 27% of the people filing had to pay the alternative minimum tax. So it will be very, very good, and especially for real estate investors. And Jacques, we spoke earlier, and I told you that the strongest two lobbies in Congress for specific items are, number one, the life insurance lobby, and number two, the real estate lobby. And there's no way that they're going to get rid of the capital gain. If you look at a historical perspective, back in 1986, when Ronald Reagan was president, the way that they made a complete simplification of the Internal Revenue Code was Reagan had to agree with the Democrats to keep capital gains and ordinary income taxed at the same level. And he didn't want that. He was very upset about that, but that's what politics does. And there was a try year after year to get it, and finally we got the separation between capital gains and ordinary income. Jacques, do you understand why we have a capital gain rate versus ordinary income?
Well, basically,
tax rates?
Yeah, I mean, basically, are you gearing toward active and passive income?
Well, also, I'm getting towards the concept that, remember, we've had very low inflation for a while.
Yes.
But what capital gains does is it allows property to have a gain over a long period of time,
yes,
and it sort of builds in inflation and it encourages long-term investment. Okay. But what I'm also getting into is the passive and active tax rules, and that is a real problem because ever since the 1986 Act, these very complicated rules have come in. And let's say you have a client that invests in a number of single-family homes or small apartment buildings. The IRS treats them as a so-called passive investor.
Yes.
So that means that they can't deduct that from other income. So if they're running another business, that's not considered a business, except under very strict circumstances. Hopefully, the Congress will make that change, and the new president will make that change to get rid of passive income. I'm not sure they're going to be able to get that through Congress, but it would be wonderful if they did.
Okay. And then, Juan, we will come back to talk more about capital gains and passive and mostly passive income. Let me bring Anthony in to obtain his perspective from a mortgage standpoint. And yes, I'm sure that we heard all your predictions. I mean, to lower the corporate taxes from 35 to 25%. And also to a limited tax loophole. And we'll come back and talk about some of the key tax loopholes. And so let me bring Anthony in. Let's listen to his perspective. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm here. I'm here. Good morning, everybody. As far as from the mortgage aspect of things, as far as the rules and guidelines and that sort of thing, with the Republicans in there, because they have ownerships and a lot of the companies that back the mortgages on the secondary market and that sort of thing. I see some of the rules being a little bit more lax than where they are now. In a way, that could be a good thing for the business, but in a way, it could be a little bit bad for the consumer. Okay, because all the rules out there right now basically are to protect the consumer. Well, they're designed to protect the consumer. Not all, they don't always do that, but they're designed to protect the consumer from fraudulent activity in the financial industry. But I predict that some of the rules, it won't be like it was in 2007, 2006, 2007, 2008. But I think some of the rules are going to be pulled back a little bit. I think Dodd-Frank rules are going to be a little bit more lax than they are currently. As far as the rates, as soon as, President-elect Trump won that night, the next day the rates shot up. Okay? And they've pulled back a little bit now, just slightly, but they have gone up. If you look at the trend from where they were, probably about 0.5% higher on average than where they were before the election. I think they will continue to go up a little bit more, but there are ways you, as a consumer or someone who's looking to purchase a home in the future, can combat that. There's a couple ways you can do. Number one, don't buy as much of an expensive home. Buy less, because you're going to be paying more in interest rate for it. Nothing you can do about it. Just rates are what they are. You can shop for different companies, but still, overall, they're going to be pretty close to the same rating. Maybe 0.1% here or there. It just depends, but not a significant difference from company to company. So on average, they're going to be at a certain level. Number two is, it all goes in a circle. You can always look at, it's something we really haven't looked at lately. I haven't done a lot of in my business, and that's looking at some adjustable rates. There, you have a rate that could be, for example, a strong one is what we call a 5-year fixed adjustable rate. What happens is it's fixed for 5 years, and then after the 5 years, it becomes an adjustable rate. Well, in 5 years, most people either move, some have life-changing events where they're moving, they need to refinance or do something with the house anyway. So that's an option that you can take a look at, because that 5-year arm the rate will be considerably less than a fixed rate that we've been pretty much focused on for the past several years because they've been so low. So it's time, I think, that the arms may come back into the picture if the rates go up, much significantly as the way they are right now. So those are some options you do have, and just when you say arm, don't panic, because there are caps and there's protection in there for you if that's something you need to entertain to purchase a home. If you're still thinking okay.
Anthony, This is Ron. Can I interject? Because I personally am advising every client that's possible, if they can, refinance right now in long-term fixed rates, at least a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage, because the rates are so low now. Remember, Anthony, I think I'm a little bit older than you, and I remember my first mortgage in 1981 at 18%.
And you had to have good credit at that time.
Yeah, I mean, and so I think I've had many clients in the past 6 months doing major refinancing to get their properties down at a long fixed rate. And I think that's one thing. And number two, I think this is the absolute time for people that are thinking about any kind of real estate investment. This is the absolute time to get into it, and to try to get into it. Now, with commercial real estate, it's harder to get a fixed rate, but get as long as you can. If the bank will give you 10 years or the mortgage company will give you 10 years or 15 years, I would go for that and because I believe with lower capital gains, in a few years, it's going to shift through, and many areas are going to see increases in real estate prices. Now, remember, real estate is local. So one town it may be going up and another town may be going down. So obviously you need a real estate expert to help guide you to the right places. But absolutely, this is the time to invest.
Yes.
And we'll end with a long-term a long-term fixed mortgage as much as you can.
Attorney
well, I mean, I kind of agree with that to a certain extent, but then I kind of disagree a little bit. For one, if you're advising some people to refinance, if they've been in their mortgage for quite some time, then they probably have a much higher interest rate, and it would be advantageous for them to refinance and fix it or whatever, depending on what their current term is and depending on what their current rate is. Maybe we have to think about it. For the past 5 or 6 years, the rates have been relatively low, historically low. So it may that it would work, and right now where the rates are, it's not as much of an advantage for them to refinance, because if they, at a rate in the 4s where they started in 5 years ago, well, the rates are pretty much the same now. There's no advantage. We have to have a net tangible benefit for them to refinance a loan. If there's no benefit to the consumer, it's not. They won't allow. They will deny a loan.
Yeah.
So, but if you've been in it for years and you want to refinance fixed, that's fine. But I'm just saying, for people who are looking at purchasing like in 2017 and the rates are continuing to go up, well, I mean, if they want to afford a house, they got to decide on whether they want to buy less house or look at the adjustable rate to get in for the next 5 years. Who knows? Obviously, none of us can predict exactly what's going to happen in the future. We have an idea in our industry that what could happen, but we don't know for sure. But it's in a circle. 5 years, the rates may drop back down. 4 years, we may have another president again, and then that cycle starts over again. We don't know.
Excuse me, Anthony.
At that point, yeah.
Go ahead, Vijay.
Do you in your industry, are you guys predicting that the Fed will raise rates about 2% in the next year or so?
We try to not predict anything because we just honestly don't know. I mean, because
it's
kind of hard to.
Inflation's running at 1.25% right now, and there is no way that you can basically have an economy that's growing at 3.9% in the third quarter and not have inflation outpace that growth sometime if you don't raise interest rates.
Okay.
What I'm saying is probably. I'm not saying they're not going to be raised. I am saying they're going to be raised. But I'm also saying it goes in a circle, and they're eventually going to drop down a little bit too.
If you have GDP growth of 3% or more in a quarter, and the prediction for the next year is that the economy will probably grow 5 or 6%, you have to raise rates to match that and keep money flow at a certain level so that you don't have inflation. For the past 2 years, what we've been having is deflation. Now inflation becomes a major problem when you have, economic growth and jobs and all that stuff.
Yes, and
and that's understandable. But there's other things that go into what affects the mortgage rates that we have. And we don't know. What if we go to war with somebody? And it's all very volatile across overseas these days, with us being involved in all different things. But that would affect it. The job situation is going to affect it.
Okay. Give me one.
So those things, and, obviously Wall Street, pretty much everything from Wall Street, and also the adjustable rates. The adjustable rates are tied to the London Interbank Offertory rate, the LIBOR. So that'll play a figure in it too.
Okay.
So
give me one.
It's very volatile, and we kind of got to see. We just can't predict. It's just hard to predict long term what's going to happen, especially considering we have a new president-elect, not official until January 20th. What's going to go off from there? Everybody's kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen from there.
Okay.
We've also seen it jump a little bit since the actual election, but it hasn't. He is not officially in office yet. They haven't started making changes and moves and things like that. And that's just the way I see it.
Okay. Now, let's go back to the refinancing point that Attorney Capoccio made a few minutes ago. Now, one thing that I always, guys, the conversation is very healthy, and I really appreciate that. And then, of course, we agree to disagree with respect. And now, one thing I always advise my customers when they talk about refinancing is payback period. So, if let's say if your mortgage is $1,000, and then you are going to spend $5,000 to refinance the house, and then if it's going to drop your payment to $900, that means you are saving $100 a month. So you take that $5,000 that you're going to spend to refinance the house and divide it by 100. That will give you X amount of month, right? Now, if you know you are going to stay in that house for more than X amount of month, it is worth your time to refinance. But if you know you're not going to spend that length of time in that house, it is not worth it. So that's one thing I always factor in, just what we call the payback period. Okay, so let's go back to tax loophole. And I know we talked about tax loopholes. I mean, what are some of the key tax loopholes, VJ, that you foresee that will be wiped out from the tax code? Go ahead, VJ, and I will bring Anthony Capuccio in.
I think what you'll see is one thing that was proposed by Congressman Ryan is that they're going to try to push more people into the standard deduction rather than the itemized deduction. So one thing that they were going to try to do is eliminate the mortgage interest deduction, and that's going to be, I don't think it's going to be devastating for people who are buying homes, because if you want to buy a home, you want to buy a home. You know, you think, hey, it's time for me to buy a home. But you know, people that are on the fence, that are renting and think that they're going to get a tax break by buying a home, might not buy a home because of that.
Well,
but so
VJ,
one of the biggest.
Yes. I mean, if they were to eliminate the mortgage interest deduction, how would that affect the middle class? Let me bring Anthony Capuccio in, and Anthony will jump in. So, Anthony Capuccio, go ahead.
Jacques, I can tell you right now, that's not going to happen. And I know you're going to play this next year if it happens, and you'll say, he said that's not going to happen. But once again, the strongest lobbies that we have in Congress are life insurance and the real estate industry. And the real estate industry knows that the mortgage deduction and capital gains for real estate are two keys that keep the velocity and the sale of real estate going, and real estate as an investment. So I doubt that will happen. But on the other hand, what VJ said is correct. If they do increase the standard deduction to $30,000, what that means is a lot of people won't have an advantage by having a mortgage deduction, because their mortgage interest expenses and stuff are partly eaten up by the standard deduction. Mm-hmm. And it also depends on the state where you live. If you live in a state like New Jersey, where I'm from, or New York or Massachusetts, or where there's high income tax rates, high real estate tax rates, and a very expensive cost of living that's going to mean a lot of deductions, there are going to be less people using the standard deduction. If you live in a state where the real estate taxes are very low and there's no income tax, then there's going to be, the standard deduction is going to have a bigger play. But I don't see them eliminating that at all.
Okay.
And that's a big loophole, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Let me bring Anthony in and see what his perspective is in terms of mortgage interest deduction and what his prediction is. And then I will go back to VJ to continue with the loophole list that he has in his drawer.
Well, I can make that one make this one kind of simple. I do agree with him on that one. Okay. I don't see that being eliminated. Or anything like that, or I think that's a very strong deduction on, for your taxes. I definitely agree with that. So, I just see that here to stay.
Yes,
here to stay.
Okay. I mean, the capital.
If you take away that, people will, the housing market will probably, be devastated once again. They definitely don't want that, because that is one of the biggest fuels of the country's economy. Exactly.
And the capital gain, let's say, of $250,000 for a single person who sold their primary residence, or $500,000 for a married couple. I mean, do you foresee that this kind of capital gain will be increased, or will it always be the same?
I'm not. Who you want to answer that? I mean, okay. I don't know.
I see. Was discussed earlier, capital gains is is basically a Republican-driven a tax issue, and they love to eliminate, capital gains taxes, and as also estate taxes. You will see the estate taxes move up also, increase from probably $5 million to $7 or $8 million. So that's another loophole that will not go away, but will be increased in order to help offset the whatever the rich people might benefit from.
Well, and I'd like to comment on that too, because remember, I have actually 40 years of practice just a few weeks ago, and when I first started practicing law in the late 1970s and early 1980s, if you had an estate of $60,000, you would have to pay federal estate tax, $60,000. And then when Reagan was elected in office, he passed an Economic Recovery Tax Act of 1981, which increased it over his term of office to $500,000. And then it stayed put until W. Bush got in, and it went up to $1 million, and then eventually increased, and there's a whole history of that. And then in the Obama administration, it stuck at $5 million. And frankly, I went from having everyone who died, pretty much, every person who owned a home that died having to pay federal estate tax and file a federal estate tax return, to now I do very few of them. So it's a huge difference in our society, and this has been a major change. And if we went back to that old system that we used to have, everyone listening to this show would be filing federal estate tax at $60,000. If you own just about anything, you'd be paying estate tax.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big boost. That's a big boost, and the Democrats have been trying to get the estate tax repealed for years, but it has not been successful.
Okay, so we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we'll talk about Dodd-Frank to see what you guys think is going to happen to Dodd-Frank or trade or any changes mostly that took place in the past 8 years. So we are going to take a quick break unfortunately with George Michael, who just passed away, one of my favorite artists, and I
didn't know that.
He did. Oh yeah. I used to listen to George Michael when I was in college.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very good.
Cousin, ça fait longtemps non pas ouais comment bagaille.
Mon cher, nous là n'a frappé ça n'est fait.
Mon cher, m'a fait des marches pour capable venir habiter dans Floride très bientôt avec toute famille là. Est-ce que vous référez à une compagnie qui fait real estate pour aider dans processus ça?
Bon, m'a bao Solstice Realty avec tout agent lié qui a bail bon service real estate en Haïti et en Floride. Ou ka toujours aller sur site yo qui c'est www.solsticerealty.net ou bien carré dans 904 886 3100.
Est-ce que son G majorité les teams qui ont caille dans Floride et puis tenant refusé payer. Est-ce que Solstice Realty fait property management?
Bien sûr mon vieux, n'a loué caille là, collecter loyer chaque mois à l'heure pour Marjorie.
Merci en pile cousin. Eh bien, si c'est comme ça, yo caille dem vendre caille moyen dans New York tout.
Pour caille Paula, n'a cherché un agent qui vous vient lister caille là pour venir mettre li à vendre pour sans être chargé. Juste faire nous connaître l'obret.
Cousin, avant aller, maman me gagne 3 cailles Haïti actuellement. Yon déjà dans loyage et puis 2 l'autre yo vide. Est-ce que vous avez une compagnie qui a aidé en Haïti?
Bien sûr, nous avons service en Haïti tout. So vous allez sur www.solsticerealty.net et puis cliquez sur Haïti pour avoir tout argent que nous gagnons à Haïti et avec toute propriété que nous avons nous avons loué à Haïti.
Solstice Realty ça ou pas gagné ou pas fait même. Mais est-ce que monsieur ça a marié mon?
Non. Solstice pas marié mon. Solstice c'est placer nous placer mon dans caille.
Mesdames et messieurs, Solstice Realty de Jacques Guillaume.
Bonjour tout le monde. Pour tout le monde qui fait brancher ou obtenir des émissions Solstice Realty et des microphones, c'est Jacques Guillaume avec monsieur microphone.
Michael Paul. How can I be a phone?
Et monsieur Michael Paul, et au bout du fil, nous gagnons monsieur Vijay Sorijnaring Singh et attorney Ronald Capuccio, et then monsieur Anthony Davis. Donc, tu as fait prédiction pour ça qui est capable de changer en 2017, surtout sur tax reform. Nous parlons sur ça en long et en large. Et puis, nous allons parler sur Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank, c'est des lois fédérales qui te mettent en vigueur qui pour protéger les gens qui ont acheté caille, les gens qui ont pris mortgage. So, nous allons switch pour anglais. All right, so we are back, and for everybody who just tuned in, you are listening to Solstice Realty Radio Show, and then we have on the other line Mr. VJ. His real name is Suresh Narayan Singh, and Attorney Ronald Capuccio, and Mr. Anthony Davis. We just listened to the prediction for 2017 in terms of tax reform, and then now let's take one piece of legislation, the Dodd-Frank, which was created for financial stability oversight, and that's a federal law. It became law of the land in 2010 under President Obama, and it was named after Senator Christopher J. Dodd, the Connecticut, and U.S. Representative Barney Frank, the Massachusetts. And so these two co-sponsored the legislation. Now, why did they create that law? It was just to make sure that a crisis like what happened in 2008 did not happen again. So as a way to protect consumers, as VJ mentioned earlier. So let me go with Anthony Capuccio. What do you think is going to happen to Dodd-Frank? Because during the campaign, Donald Trump was saying that they are going to repeal Dodd-Frank. Do you see that happen, or what are your thoughts?
I don't think that it's going to be repealed in the exact sense of being repealed. I think there's going to be a lot of modifications. The one thing I'm sure you've noticed, Jacques and Anthony, and I'm sure VJ, is that people have had great difficulty in dealing with banks, and I'm talking about small businesses and consumers, whether it's even opening a bank account to the extent of getting a home mortgage. There's just too much in the way of requirements and too many restrictions. And I'll give you a perfect example of how bad Dodd-Frank and all the related regulations have gone. I refinanced my home, which I've been in since 1991, in 2013, and I got a 3.125% rate, which I'm sure Anthony would be very pleased with, and for a 30-year mortgage. And what I did, I'm self-employed. I have my own practice, and the same bank that had all of my bank accounts and all of my information, Dodd-Frank made me have to print out all of my bank statements that they had sitting in their computer, from their computers, and give it to a different branch. And ridiculous things like that have been the result of all of these myriad of laws, and we've got to simplify it because it takes too much work. It costs too much money. Wouldn't you agree with that, Anthony?
Oh, 100%. Josh, I'm sure you know, when I go to calling clients and ask them for stuff, and they scratch their head thinking it make no sense for me to ask them to do this or do it a specific way and all that.
That's what the Republicans will do. The Republicans, and I had a discussion with Jack last night, Republicans are all for small government, less regulations, let things run, let the market run fluid, let, people create, innovate without the government, hanging over their head. And Dodd-Frank is basically, was a knee-jerk reaction to 2008, I think, in my opinion. Yes, you have to have oversight and stuff like that. But you have the SEC, strengthen the SEC into two different arms. One arm manages hedge funds, one arm manages investments. That's how you create oversight. You don't need another, Sarbanes-Oxley or, a Frank Dodd-Frank to basically do what the SEC is there to do.
But VJ, I mean, the same way also you will ask yourself, where was FCC in 2006? I mean, let's start with 2004 because the trend started in 2004, 2005, 2006. What did they do about it?
Well, the thing is, 2008 happened because we had deregulated the banking industry so much so that they were doing derivatives and swaps and all. They were all over the place doing all kinds of stuff that they didn't even know what they were doing. Some guy who had invested over $1 trillion in derivatives and so I thought he had covered $100 million. These were the things that were happening. AIG didn't even know what positions they were covering because of so much action that was going on there that was not regulated, was not monitored. The SEC didn't have anything to do with the derivatives at that time.
Well, but those actions had no basis. They were mainly based on speculation.
Yes, a derivative is basically derived. It's something that you're saying that how you're going to get money derived from some transaction in the future.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe I can tell you, well...
and it's all speculation.
Exactly.
Then AIG was ensuring speculation.
And people invested millions in that. That's why I love America. You just have to have a brilliant mind, and people will invest millions in you.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Well, look. Yeah. So, I think I was very interested to read that that they're going to call the new plan the choice plan, where they're going to allow the banks to keep 10% of their capital in cash instead of what the Federal Reserve right now requires from them, which is about close to 23% for the bigger banks.
Okay.
But across the board, 10%. I don't know if that's how that's going to, go across with the Democrats.
Well, but one thing that we know that reducing the reserve requirement does is that increases the amount of money available. So just like you said earlier, VJ, we're looking at more inflation potential and as Anthony said, higher interest rates. And that's why I'm saying to everyone, get into fixed rates now.
Exactly.
Do your investments now. It all fits together.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I would be leery to go into an ARM in 5 years because I don't know, the interest rates might be about 8 or 9% or 10% when that adjustable rate, unless I can jump into something, before then.
Yes, and then I can tell you I could not agree with you more because as soon as I could refinance my house about 4 or 5 years ago, I jumped on it. And I even refinanced my investment properties too. So, when you earn it 3% to 4%, you say, well, it's happy days. Oh, happy days. Well, I want to say thank you to all of you for taking the time out of your beautiful Saturday to be with us on the radio show. I mean, that's a great commitment for you to continue supporting mostly VJ Anthony, because they're here for me all the time. At 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Anthony Cappuccini, I want to say thank you. Thanks a million for taking the time. I know you're on vacation, right, Juan?
Yes, I am. But
did you know how
a phone is a phone?
Did you know how
I can tell you, it's my honor to be on the show. But if I'm wrong in prediction next year, please don't play it back.
We're all going to be wrong in our prediction because I think I was on a show with Anthony when we said how the elections already been decided.
Yeah.
Well,
did you remember that, Anthony?
Yeah.
VJ, I didn't play that podcast. I didn't.
Yeah, you should play that podcast.
All right. Thank you very much. So I will let you come up with your last word or your last wish to the community. So I will start with Anthony and then Anthony Cappuccino and then VJ. Go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, it's great to be here as always, and I love the discussions and the conversation. We can agree or disagree on certain things. That's awesome. But my last words is just, we as consumers and, of course, people in the industry, we're doing it. Just be diligent and just kind of watch your financial house a little bit more than probably you have been in the past, because it's so volatile right now to kind of see what the trend is especially once we get into the new presidency. If you got questions, call an expert in whatever industry to kind of help get some advice on what to do. Always great. Thank you, Jock, for having me on here.
Thank you very much, Anthony. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, Attorney Cappuccio.
Well, Jacques, once again, thank you for inviting me. I really enjoy being on the show, and my advice is go out and invest in real estate now. This is the time, and get fixed mortgage rates. And if anyone has any questions and legal questions about what I've talked about or tax questions, if you call Jock at Solstice Realty, he has my actually personal cell phone, so he can certainly text me a message and I can certainly get back to you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Cappuccio. Wherever you are, we'll track you down. Thank you. And then VJ, go ahead.
I thank you once again, Jack, for inviting me to your show, and the conversation was awesome as usual. That's all it is. I always learn something new when I'm on the show. That's why I'm on the show. And to your listeners, I say, let your money work for you, and teach your children at a very young age about the beauty of finance. It is something that basically drives the world, and it creates a lot of problems, but it also creates a lot of happiness. And look forward to doing these shows in 2017.
Thank you very much, VJ.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, VJ.
So his French is getting better each day.
Yeah, from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you very much, VJ. Every day, get up and go for a walk, or go jogging, or go to the beach. And then, enjoy life. You need to breathe again. You need to take some time off. Anthony, I'm talking to you. You need to take some time off. Okay.
Don't worry, I'm doing it.
do like Attorney Cappuccio. I mean, I think he's on his jet ski now. He's just skiing somewhere in Key West. All right. Thank you. Back was on your Timono, no? Yeah. That's Timono. Antoine was in your Baptiste, mon comment have Comment have oublié Timono?
Timono est très populaire, mon cher. Timono, monsieur Mourir, mon cher.
C'est une génération, nous grandit à prendre Timono.
Ah non.
Toujours songer que yon moun pas jamais deux fois. Pour Kachita pour n'a perdu temps. Demain pour partir si te connaît. Essayez faire yon bagay comme servir moun ka grandi.
Bon, mesdames et messieurs, nous presque arrivés dans la fin de programme. Non? Donc, comme M. Jacques Guillaume te dit, bon, santé avant toute autre chose. Donc, nous avons besoin de santé pour nous faire tout ça que nous faire. Pas oublier ça, vite, j'étais dit nous dans le show, c'est que Beauty of Finance, c'est bon pour nous expliquer beauté de à faire l'argent et pour nous expliquer à Timoun nous discipline à faire l'argent. Maintenant, attendez non Solstice Realty Agent Lio. Donc nous disons merci encore une fois de plus pour support nous bas Solstice Realty et support en plus nous qui tend des choix en plus amis nous yo captant des choix nous toute l'église yo pasteur yo amis nous saluer. Donc OK, monsieur Cadet, c'est numéro c'est 442 47 60 442 47 60 et Fertile 699 64 12 699 64 12 et monsieur Thomas 860 39 13 860 39 13 et Pierre-Line Prinville c'est 329 61 14 329 61 14 et monsieur Octeus c'est 229 92 40 229 92 40 et monsieur Fanor est 600 8105 600 8105 Monsieur Étienne 405 23 46 405 23 46 donc et monsieur le bien connu Jacques Guillaume et 386 17 26 Michael Paul 254 93 74. Merci bien tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup monsieur Michael Paul.
Et puis,
chose ça est patronné par First Choice Insurance of America de monsieur Aloxi et numéro de téléphone 904-732-1818 et de Dr. Plumbing, M. Rodney Robillard, 904-444-4614. de M. Stanley Louis dans 904-554-0630 et de Allstate Insurance Company de Jolita Ray dans 904-309-5607 et de Climate Experts Heating and Air de M. Nick Anthony dans 770-540-3701 et de Madame Rosie Wilson, dame qui
pain patate là?
Non, beauté. Beauté,
ça c'est beauté.
Pain patate, tu son.
Ah, là, de pain patate.
Il fait pain patate et puis il fait crémasse tout.
Wow.
Yeah, donc si vous besoin bon genre crémasse et puis tout. Si vous besoin paraître beaucoup plus jeune, il dit qu'il faut paraître 20 ans plus jeune.
Ah non, dans des grands madame là, n'a affaire mais plus jeune, par contre ça elle prend là les grands problèmes là. Ça sont l'autre chapitre.
On fille?
Il y a on fille. Nous-mêmes, nous ne parlons pas de ça. C'est pas haïtien.
Et haïtien, nous, même quand nous. Bamdo, ça que de bons garçons haïtiens, c'est un coup du vin, nous.
Oh, wow.
Nous payons bon, nous payons grand monde.
C'est ça.
Yeah.
Nous sommes occupés par français.
Vous
connaissez français qui fait plus bon divin.
We are better with time. So plus nous payons grand, nous payons bon. Yeah.
Nous ne pouvons pas le dire puis oui.
Et bien donc, le numéro de téléphone aussi, c'est 904-302-2006. Donc, émission nous arrive en fin. Merci à tout le monde qui t'attendait. Qui t'attendait l'émission.
Fini.
Quel est nous pas dit communauté quel est tourné et puis nous pas ou qu'on fait non c'est fini c'est pour te chanter c'est pour te ba Charles Aznavour c'est fini
c'est fini OK bon depuis que tu fais traduction pendant que ma Charles Aznavour
Charles Aznavour c'est fini
pendant ce temps on met fait en traduction de ça
et si on nous comme nous étions en des matin c'était grand pile anglais tombé dans Shoah et nous connaissons monsieur Jacques Guillaume lui parlant pile anglais tout. Donc ça ce qui arrive c'est que yo t'a gardé pour qui prédiction gagne dans intérêt qui j'ai intérêt à pouvoir monter là dans 2017 là. C'est-à-dire que pour yo qu'un économie antigen plus ou moins jam qu'on j'ai trop aimé mot ça jam pour yo qu'un économie antigen jam yo capable monter intérêt. Mais mes amis qui m'ont dit nous pas fatiguer nous les nous tendre intérêt à monter. Parce que moi-même personnellement dans les années 90 yo si on monte tes gon intérêt 7,5, c'est un très très bon intérêt s'il était 7,5. Et prédiction que fait c'est que c'est peut-être maximum peut-être d'arriver dans 8 et c'est pas qu'on y a là. Yo pas jamais ka monter intérêt, yo sorti dans 4 puis yo pas monter dans 6 puis yo pas monter dans 7 comme ça. Yo aller graduellement, peu à peu et comme ça intérêt monter. Donc, ça veut dire qu'il y a déjà une prédiction faite pour 2017, là, dans 20 juin, comme ça, peut-être, ou juillet, intérêt à capable, peut-être presque dans 5 ou 5 combien. C'est prédiction. Donc, c'est ça fait que, on dit, à tes avocat tout, qui était avec nous, souligne, je dis, il dit que si on n'a pas acheté, soit prendre décision, c'est qu'on y a là pour dégager ou acheter, et puis, parce que très, très bientôt, moun ka vient tomber dans intérêt, adjustable rate, côté que faut, c'est ajuster intérêt à pour. Donc, on va tomber dans ça, sous que chance ou pied coup de prend devant, comme nous qu'on dit. Et puis, mes amis, gardez passeport nous, ça veut dire crédit nous, travaille sous crédit nous sérieusement. Donc, c'est très, très important. Autant que crédit ou pas bon, même si intérêt normal là 5, ou même 4, c'est dans 6, soit tomber ou bien 7. Donc, c'est très important que nous travaillons sous crédit nous, n'acheter, mais que nous payer, pas faire dette qui pas nécessaire pour nous qu'aimer l'économie nous. Pour nous faire marcher bien pour nous. OK, que bon Dieu bénisse nous, on a fait l'année ça et que famille nous était en bonne santé et que nous très prudents de yo a conduit sous bras mes amis pas conduit, sous bras pas conduit. OK.
Bon, Michael, capable vraiment négocier font une très bonne ouverture ce matin concernant réforme qu'a fait dans taxe. Surtout
I learned a lot.
Yeah, surtout côté que va le baisser. Bon, donc ça est prédiction.
C'est prédiction.
Yeah, donc il est vrai que Donald Trump a dit que la baisser taxe sur les corporations, sur les industries, en toute compagnie de 35 à 15%, de 30 à 15%. Mais nous connaissons ça, c'est impossible. Mais les projections côté que le cap descend à 25%. Non, question que nous gagnons vraiment, les baisser taxes là, de 35 à 25, c'est-à-dire il y a 10% tax break. So basically, 10% ça il va le bénéficier first class, première classe, c'est-à-dire upper class. Mon il gagne plus comme là.
Right.
Mais est-ce que vraiment comme ça tax break ça, est-ce que vraiment il va trickle down pour aller des middle class là? C'est-à-dire pour aller est-ce que ça vraiment il va créer emploi? Je crois que ça that is yet
depend.
That is yet
no
to be seen.
Yeah.
And it may not. Pour quelle raison? Parce que un peu des fois ou capable voir que toutes les qui te gagnent
decline 2008.
Well, toutes les te gagnent pas assistance pour banque yo.
Yeah, pour back them up.
Yeah. Toutes les que the government made a decision.
They make a lot of money. And it doesn't help the economy at that time.
Yeah, parce que you te dit well parce que companies they were too big to fail. And what did they do? They give them some packages where you're capable.
And they hold the money, they didn't invest it back to the market.
Voilà, parce que regardez vraiment combien de monde vraiment qui te bénéficié de refinancement. Ou capable compter sur doigt combien de monde connaît qui te un refinancement. Donc, est-ce que vraiment lower corporate taxes, the tax break, lower corporate tax from 35 to 25, est-ce que vraiment ça pourrait aider l'économie? Est-ce que ça va créer un emploi?
Aider classe moyenne ou bien malheureux. Bon, c'est toujours littérature bien. C'est bon, naturellement. Il y a quelques partis démocrates ou républicains de afficher ça qui parfois n'a avantage.
Mais comment parce que question à poser tout, est-ce que vraiment les corporations qu'on a pas plus saving, c'est-à-dire c'est moins taxes à payer, est-ce que vraiment ça va encourager pour employer plus de monde? Tout même ça nous pas connaître c'est
prédiction.
We have to wait and see.
Yeah, we gotta wait and see.
Yeah. And aussi tu parles de tax loophole, de capital gain. Donc yes, quel que soit le monde qui investit, on investit pour gagner, bon, pas ou perdu, but no, right. Surtout dans real estate, nous tous entre aller dans capital gain, but takou one avec Anthony dit m'pas quoi que yo pas toucher capital gain because that will be a big battle because capital gain mostly helps the middle class. Par exemple, on watch ton kai après 10 ans on vend ni souvent 250 millions pas pour payer taxe sur lui. Et sur Marie, on a fait up to $500,000 ou pas pour payer taxe sur lui. So, c'est pour cette raison que un peu le monde investit dans real estate. Dans le cas contraire, pour qui ça vous investir dans real estate? Si par exemple, vous pas capable de claim your mortgage interest, si vous avez éliminé ça à des taxes loophole, tant que vous te dit, pour établir un standard tax reduction, quoi c'est 7, 15% et puis 33%. Mais tout de même, toutes ces prédictions, on va...
Il y a des prédictions parce que l'avocat, lui, n'est pas tellement... Il pensait que n'est capable de toucher la taxe deduction, ça, ou bien standard, because il a créé un problème.
Well, you will create more loopholes because the taxes varies across the state line. So what may work for Florida may not work for New Jersey. Yeah, parce que un peu le côté on paye federal and state tax. We don't pay state tax.
Yeah, no pay state tax.
So which is a plus.
Qui bon pour nous boys.
Donc on va prendre congé de
vous.
Non, de Solstice Realty. Allez là pour nous aller.
C'est ça.
Yeah, allez là pour nous aller. Merci à tout le monde qui t'attendait l'émission.
Et donner tant de joie disparaissent à jamais, effaçant de ta vie même.
Écoutez Charles Aznavour.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Que l'amour nous a fait. Je ne sais comment faire et je ne sais que dire. Je veux paraître fort une dernière fois. Les larmes au coin des yeux, je me force à sourire. D'un sourire forcé qui ne te trompe pas. Trop lâche pour mourir, bien qu'effrayé de vivre, je compte sur l'oubli pour trouver le repos. Il faudra m'habituer dans les années à suivre, à des jours sans ta voix, à des nuits sans ta peau. C'est fini, 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 fini. C'est fini, 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 fini. Fini, fini, c'est fini,